Welcome to Daybreak with Ted Tibbett and Michael Paul. If you have a comment, you can call us now at 261-0898 or pound 981 on any ceasefire device. Our email is newsradiomornings@gmail.com.
Go on and send me down to Tucson.
It is now 7:16, 16 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. Michael is joined by our good friend Gene Valentino. And good morning, Gene.
And a pleasant good morning to everybody.
Gene, I'll tell you, what a week. It just seems like last week, it was like, what else could go on? And then, you have this week. And it's like, what is going on in this world? Where are we headed in this country? It's just unbelievable, the things that we see every day.
Yeah, Michael, thank you for having me. We may have some technical problems because we are focusing on such complex, it seems simple, but it's actually a very complex issue. You got one sense where, nobody called it toxic masculinity when we were saving the world, and there's another line I picked up this week that I want to share with you. Mice die in mouse traps because they do not understand why the cheese is free. Just like socialism. Just like socialism. That's the 10,000-foot level. Let me talk generally about something for a minute. I feel so grateful that you let me run off for a minute with a few points. But here you have a guy just 4 years ago from CNN News. His name was Jim Acosta. And he got in President Trump's face. He was belligerent. He was rude. He was on national TV hogging the microphone while the other reporters in the press pool didn't even get a chance to give their 2 cents and ask their questions because he was badgering and in a hostile tone going after Trump. And here you have the only guy in the press pool today, Peter Doucy, son of Steve Doucy from Fox News. Peter Doucy himself is I don't know if the guy is having dementia or what, but Biden asks him to step over a small barricade of sorts and make his way right up to the face of Biden to ask some questions. And Biden then takes him on and admonishes him like a schoolboy. I have never seen such a contradiction in the way the press themselves have handled things. And then you've got this Maui emergency director resigning this morning from health reasons. Health reasons, he was talking about equity as an important reason why we're not distributing water and allowing the water system over there to flow freely to help quash the fires that were emblazoned literally within hours to take out the near entirety of the island. It's absolute recklessness of social conditioning that has now leaked over into the administrative strength we need, whether it's a fire in Maui, whether it's the sanctuary city of New York City, or the border itself. And Michael, the border itself, you've got Mayor Adams up there in New York who demanded that New York City be one of the blue areas of this nation, to welcome all these poor citizens, now demanding that Washington give them money to help care for these people. $100 million just given to New York City. $25 million given to the Arizona border. If you close down the border first, New York City wouldn't have the $100 million ask. Yeah. I've never seen such a contradiction in stupidity in my whole life. And then you have fingerprinted foreigners coming in. It's horrendous. These fingerprinted foreigners are criminals from their own nations. Hey, you've got all these Venezuelans coming to the United States to enjoy capitalism. Why? I don't see anybody running off to Venezuela.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, that's the one thing we can say, right? At least people still believe, as bad as it's gotten here, people still believe this is the only place in the world that you can go and be free. And still to a large measure, of course, we are free here in the United States. However, we've gotten to the point now where the government has its thumb on everything that you do. And and for example, I mean, we're going after appliances. They want you to have appliances that just don't work. Now, do you believe for 1 second that any of these people that are pushing this stuff will suffer from this? No. Because they're going to have stuff that works. They're going to send all of those appliances out to us like, well, we're going to do away with gas stoves, number one. Number two, they're going to do away with the dishwashers. They're going to let you have them, but they're going to be chinchy on water, and they're not going to clean the dishes as well. So you're going to end up having to hand wash them anyway. It's just absolutely unbelievable.
Good point. Hey, it just dawned on me. We had some technical problems this morning. We don't have technical problems the rest of the day. Might it be the damn deep state knows you and I are talking about the deep state? Maybe they're putting a monkey wrench in the damn system. I use Zoom the rest of the day and during the week. How come I have a problem with this connection with you every Friday morning at 7:15?
Well, meanwhile, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that. I used to never be a conspiracy theorist. I used to never think. I used to think, a lot of these people, they got nothing to do. They need to get a job. They're worried about stuff that's not happening. But I'll tell you, after the last few years, I'm starting to wonder, is there something out there going on? Are there these conspiracies to do things to the American public? For example, our radio show, I mean, we have trouble getting hooked up. I mean, who knows? I'm to the point now where I don't question it. I think it could possibly happen.
Yeah. Everyone thought these conspiracy theories were bogus before. There's something deeper going on here. Meanwhile, 52% of this nation, all Americans, 52% want the damn border wall finished. Finish the border wall, for God's sake. Yeah. And if you don't want, and instead of you and I whining about it, I reach out to everybody in earshot of us right now. Get hold of your congressman, unite, mobilize, and uprise illegally to move the mountain. You must convince your elected officials to do something more radical to get this nation turned around. Start with the border. Let's study whether we should be doing anything for Ukraine. Even Trump is beginning to make sense to me about not pulling out of Ukraine altogether. Why? Because we're not civilized humanitarians in concern about the citizens of Ukraine. No, we are. But how much money has been given to the Biden crime family from the very dollars we've given Ukraine to defend itself?
And you have it. There you have it. There you hit on the point that I think a lot of people are starting to realize. When you look at what has happened with Ukraine, with Hunter Biden, with the money being pumped in, Burisma, all of these things, now you're starting to realize, and people are starting to wake up to the fact that we may be sending our tax-paying money over there for them to send back to our politicians. I'm just saying, I believe that is possible.
The cancer from within is more important than the neighbor's cancer over the pond on the other continent of the earth. Everything that happens at the border then spreads throughout the United States. Fix the damn border first, please, who's ever capable of listening to this and moving on it. Fix the border first. I don't care if you like Trump or not. He was right. He was right. Meanwhile, Michael, the economy. Biden's endless lies, my words. He bragged just yesterday on the 6 o'clock news that wages and salaries are on the rise. A lie. He says that we've had a record amount of oil and gas being produced here in the nation. An absolute lie. He says we've reduced the deficit by $1.7 trillion. Another lie. It's increased. We are now today, this morning, I just heard the morning news, a 22-year high on mortgage rates. Now the 30-year mortgage is at 7.5%. It was under 3% 4 years ago. And inflation is around 10%. He says it's around 3%. 3% is what it's grown on top of the 9% that it's been up since he took office. It's really an inflation rate of about 12%. Now, do I sit here and whine and get angrier and angrier, or do we make sure that look in the mirror, folks? It's up to all of us to get to the polls in November, since there's no constitutional amendment in place yet, to pull these idiots out of office sooner that have caused these problems, starting with Biden, starting with Alejandro Mayorkas, border czar or Nimrod, and Attorney General Merrick Garland, who thinks that David Weiss is acceptable as the attorney to represent, to indict and investigate Hunter Biden. It was only 2 months ago David Weiss was the attorney for Hunter Biden, working out that sweetheart deal of 2 minor misdemeanors, the deal of a lifetime. And everyone thinks this is justice. If we lose the third leg of our stool, the system of justice we have in this democracy, we lose this democracy. We must step out. And Michael, just to conclude, Donald Trump will go down in American history as the pivotal point, just like the American Revolution, just like the War of 1812, just like the Civil War. This is a pivotal point where politics and lobbyists that pay congressmen and senators to fund their campaigns, this will be a pivotal point where your vote really will be more important than their lobbying monies they give to these candidates to run for office. It's either the citizens stepping up to protect this democracy, this constitutional republic, or we will see socialism and Marxism in this nation untethered, taking off like a fire in a hayfield, like never before.
Wow. That's powerful. And I think you're exactly right. We have to stop these things from happening. We have to get a hold of this. This is something that has gotten out of control. We've got a president who, and by the way, when you look at his polling numbers, I mean, people aren't buying this stuff. You know, we got 20 seconds left, but, you know, I think we should have a good weekend and really think about what we're going to do to try to save our country, because this is pretty important.
This is the world's best secret. It's the longest standing government in the world, folks. It's called the Constitutional Republic. Thank you for having me. Let's think about how to protect America.
Okay, we'll see you again next week, and hopefully we'll get some of this equipment fixed. See ya.
Once again, another great program with Gene Valentino, Michael Paul, 7:30. We'll take a Fox News break, and we've got a lot more for you. Stay with us.
I believe in miracles.